chose not to ever do flooring again because flooring sucks.
It does.
But when your knee was jacked,
right,
and you couldn't get down and do the flooring, you were doing the cutting, which I was used to doing.
Right.
And then I was down on the floor. So there is this, again, when it comes to these...
as a millionaire, at this time, we're multimillionaires. My knee hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still over there working.
Yes.
I have a brace on, and you're on the floor. I hand to you. You basically install the floor. I'm the guy cutting on the table, and we get the floor in.
Right.
My name's Gerald Peters, and I believe that anybody, regardless of age, race, or financial situation, can become financially independent in America today. I'm a teacher, and I teach what I've done, what I know, and what I know to be possible. You have everything you need inside of you to be more, to do more, and to have more. Today, I have a special guest, my wife and partner of 21 years, who's helped me build this multi-million-dollar real estate and stock empire that I hope that a conversation with her can encourage you and your spouse to get together and make it happen for you. Where two or more are gathered on the same goal, there is supernatural power. Good luck.
Because you used to drive me crazy with, you would get splatters.
Right, and then, and that's a learning phase, and I was going to say that's something else. There's been times where we had to almost revert our roles in a way, in that early on I wasn't really involved in the construction. I wasn't raised doing construction. My dad wasn't. You've met my dad. You know my dad. It's as far from construction as you get.
Yep.
He doesn't even change light bulbs.
Right.
He's a computer tech guy, and so.
Well, my dad didn't get his hands dirty either. My mom did, but
right.
My dad didn't.
So I, as a late 30s, 40-year-old man, more likely, had to decide I need to be a contractor now, to the best of my ability.
Right.
And how did I learn? YouTube. So when people are like, but I'm not very handy, Gerald. No shit. Nobody's born handy. Like, no one's born knowing how to play the piano. These are just learnable things.
Yeah.
Now, you can have natural, but any human being can put in a floor.
Yes.
It may not be the best floor. It may have flaws and not be cut right. But the good thing is you don't even have to get it right. People will rent a fucked up house.
Well, and I guess the floors, for example, you're going to end up changing out those floors anyway.
Right. So even if you did a bad job, the next one will be better, right?
Exactly. I mean, it just can't, be causing an issue. It just has to.
And we've
might
done
not look the best.
Yeah. And 7 years into our venture, wwhere we're on house 8, 9, 10, 12, we're like, who did this? And it's us. It's like, oh wait, that was us. And because you learn things, you learn how to.
Well, and you know what's funny is the flooring is one example too of switching roles.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do flooring. I knew how to do flooring. I'd done flooring. I chose not to ever do flooring again because flooring sucks.
It does.
But when your knee was jacked,
right,
and you couldn't get down and do the flooring, you were doing the cutting, which I was used to doing.
Right.
And then I was down on the floor. So there is this, again, when it comes to these...
as a millionaire, at this time, we're multimillionaires. My knee hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still over there working.
Yes.
I have a brace on, and you're on the floor. I hand to you. You basically install the floor. I'm the guy cutting on the table, and we get the floor in.
Right.
Right. That's, a lot of people are like, oh, I can't do that. My back hurts.
I don't have time to do that.
Right. And it's like, you have to make it time.
Yeah. Well, and the other part too is we actually enjoy.
We enjoy it. It's like a puzzle.
You were just doing stuff over at a friend's house.
And it's one of my best days here. I know that sounds stupid.
To go over and work. Yeah, I know.
Doesn't that sound stupid?
No.
And I'm so much richer than them.
Yeah.
Like, beyond.
Yeah.
They have to do that. I'm doing it because I like to do it. That's different.
I would literally rather be covered in paint.
Right.
Than sitting in an office.
Yeah, they made me quit. And then when I was going, because he saw quickly I knew what I was doing. I'm putting the draw cloth down. I got the thing. I'm like, bro, I know how to paint. I got this. I was like, trust me, I am okay. Just show me where the tools are. I was like, if I run into some shit that, if you see me doing something weird, just yell at me. I
Yeah.
said, I can cut in, do all that. So I just immediately start working.
Right.
And he was wrapping up. And I was like, well, why don't you go and I'll keep going. I'll put up all the stuff. He was like, no. And I understand that feeling.
Right.
He doesn't know me well enough to know that I could just continue on.
Well, I think too, part of that was
Guilty.
Well, no, part of that was they didn't want anybody there at the house by themselves.
But Anthony was going to be there. But
Oh.
I was just having such a good time.
Right.
Just sweating balls. It's like 95
It was so hot
degrees.
yesterday.
And I'm on a ladder and I'm painting. And the whole time I'm thinking, I'm on realtors, I'm painting. How much is this house? Like that's
Please note, he is extremely slow at everything he does because he's got to be on the damn phone,
Right.
looking at what's available in the neighborhood. What are the rents going for? What are the houses going for?
I get sidetracked.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to post this on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I told TK that. I said, listen, I'm gonna do a good job. I'm gonna move slower than you
Right.
because I'm gonna take pictures and document. He was like, just whatever.
Yeah.
But the point being is, we love that properties are a craft, and anybody can learn it.
Yes.
You really can. No different than anybody can. You may not want to play the piano, but if you did it every day for an hour, you would start to be okay.
Right.
You would make sounds that sounded like music.
Right.
You're never going to be, Elton John, but
No, and again, back to YouTube. There are tricks. There are so many. I'll sit there in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee and I'm watching these stupid reels, and
makes you feel like you don't know anything.
all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, that's how you do that. Because yes,
Right.
y'all, I do watch reels about woodworking,
Right.
laying and flooring.
She'll come
construction
show me.
stuff.
You should
Yeah.
learn this. And it's like some fake, there's so many tricks I can't remember them
Yeah.
all. I mean, but again, not to get too sidetracked, but the main thing there was we were talking about division of labor. You, your wife, if it's you and a brother. I'm not big on partnerships. I have several friends that have successful partnerships. Just me personally, I'm a private guy, which is hard to believe, right? Don't you think? I don't have a lot of people around me.
No.
I tend, right?
You don't.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of people around me. I don't like a lot of people at my house. From time to time, I invite people over. I'm just very antisocial, and yet I'm active on social media.
Right.
I just don't need to be in a crowd. I like to hang out alone. I go for walks alone, and that's how I think, I get frustrated when people start asking me lots of questions in
Yes.
person. Yeah, I get frustrated.
Or me.
Even my wife starts asking me
Pain
questions.
in the ass.
And truth is, guys, I'm gonna be honest. One of my faults, this is a fault of mine, I do not like to work with people, even smart people.
No.
You may be right. Like maybe your idea is better than mine. I don't give a fuck. It wasn't my idea. And
Well, even just everyday business stuff that has to be taken care
right,
of and
I'm not
decisions
good at
have to be
working with
made.
people.
No, I will have to yell at you to say
Right.
I need 5 minutes of your damn time, or
And to point that out, it's not to make fun of my faults, but it's to say you might have faults,
right.
and you can still do this real estate thing.
Well, and your thing is always you don't have to get it right, you just have to get it
Just
going.
have to get it going.
And I'm OCD.
She knows my sayings.
I do. I hear them a lot. But I'm so OCD that I have to have it right before I put it out. So we struggle with that as
We
well.
struggle, yeah, because my wife will fix it, rewrite it, get it right. I mean, she'll just keep revising that book.
Right.
Where I'm like, first run through,
Yeah.
publish it. And that is not a good trade either. And I've had to correct some of that. But also, it on one hand, it is because I can get things going.
Right.
Day-to-day management of those things is not my forte.
And we frequently too, like when we're working on a property, we're not working together.
Right,
We're
that's
at
what I was
the
gonna say.
same building.
There's often you're there, I'm at home.
or we're at the
working.
same building and we're on opposite ends
Opposite
because
ends.
I do not want to see what he's doing
Right.
or not doing, and
That's important. Like we're
then
working
I'm not
separately.
I'm not bugging him
Right.
and micromanaging.
Because I've had guys say that to me, more guys than women, just because my followers are 70% guys,
Right.
say, that sounds great. I don't know that I want my wife next to me all day. Like, you know what I mean? Like some people need space. They need a little
Right.
break from each other. And I'm like, dude, half the time I'm working on the porch. She's back in the back room working on the kitchen.
Right.
We may not see each other till we leave. I mean, other than passing.
Right. I mean, you've got your.
In other words, we're not both
on.
working on the same project every time. If I'm doing the porch or redoing the porch, I'm usually doing it by myself.
Yeah. Yes.
Even shit that I should have help, right?
Right.
You'd be like, you need help? Nope.
And usually I'm only calling you if I can't lift something.
Can't lift something. So my point there is, even though you're working together, you don't have to be on top of each other if that's your concern. You don't have to know what you're doing. You don't have to get it right. If you break it, you own the place. So a lot of people's fears are really not a problem once you own a property and start thinking about it.
Right. I mean, I can hang a light fixture.
Right.
I don't have an issue with that. I know how to do it. But in town, in the properties inside the city limits, there's ordinances. I can't change out a light fixture. I have to actually hire an electrician. And then there's other things that...
How would you find that out? Because what if I live in a town and I don't know all the ordinances? How could I ever know that?
You could go down to City Hall.
Go to City Hall.
Or like we have an annex.
Right.
And
some cities probably have it online.
Right.
PDFs.
Yeah, real cities. I'm like...
You just Google remodeling my house in LA.
Just city ordinances for construction.
Right.
And it's a big, long, huge ass book. And
you don't need to know all of it.
No.
You can just find your spot.
Right.
And there could be weird things. And sometimes you're just going to get in trouble. Like, you can take siding off a house, but it can't be more than 10 cubic feet. If it's more than, maybe it's 3 cubic feet. If it's that, then you gotta have a permit. But if it's just one little piece, you don't.
Right.
And the way you find that out is you take too much off and they write you a ticket. Right. And now you know.
Or they shut down your job site.
I
have had my job site shut down.
You don't go to jail. Nothing bad happens to you. You just get slapped on the wrist.
Well, because they'll change crap up too. In Texas, it used to be you had to be a licensed contractor in order to do certain things. But if you were working on one of your own properties, you didn't have to have any kind of license. And then when the tree fell on the house, then we had to completely redo the house, I got shut down because I didn't have a general contractor. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't need a general contractor. Right. I am the general contractor. And what it came down to is I just needed to go down and pay $90 to get a little piece of paper that says I was the general contractor. Because they started a new thing that you have to have a general contractor. And I had no idea this happened.
So it's a tax grab. It's a revenue grab.
Right.
So then she says, well, what are the requirements to become a general contractor? And it's like, you have to register with the city and pay $500, right?
It wasn't even that. It was $90.
$90. And then you probably got to redo it every year. So it becomes
I don't know. I didn't bother with it again.
Right.
I just kept going.
So, but voila, licensed contractor. But people ask me all the time, do you have to be licensed or no?
Well, and the stupid part was I was using licensed and insured people to do everything that needed to be done.
But even then,
between the roof, the foundation, the plumbing, and the electrical, I didn't need anybody else for anything else.
Right.
I needed them. They were all licensed. What the hell was the sense of me having to be hiring a general contractor for?
Mm-hmm.
I already had my people in place. I already started everything.
Right.
So, I don't know. It was stupid.
Yeah, and then the other... So, yeah, that's cool. We talked about that. We talked about your family can divide labor. We took our baby over there when he was a baby, put him in a playpen, let him crawl around, give him a paintbrush and let him fuck a wall up that you're going to paint over anyway. Next, maybe you're painting over here and you got to paint this wall anyway.
Just remember to give them white paint when you do that.
Don't give them something crazy, but let them do shit, and then, hey, stack these boards.
Right.
And then, if you help me, I'll buy you something. That's the kind of shit.
Giving a child a paintbrush with primer is probably acceptable.
Keep them away from power tools, obviously, but those things can be fun. And a lot of times, too, people are busy. Life is busy. And we would do these things in spurts in a sense that on Monday, I need to do this for at least an hour. Right. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to try to get another hour in. Well, by Friday, I've done this 4, 5, 6 times, and I've painted that room, this room, and this room. So come weekend, I only got 2 rooms left, and I'm able to knock them out. And then the whole house was painted. And it's been a rough week because we worked, and then spare time was painting.
And we had a kid.
And it was this juggle, and then you would go, and it would take us sometimes I mean, I think we've had houses open that we purchased from the time we purchased them to the time they were rented, 6 months.
6 months.
That's about average, right?
Right.
Now, I know there's investors out there watch that and cringe when I said that. And
But we weren't paying for the cost for
labor.
We weren't paying
right.
for the cost of somebody else's license. You having to use a contractor, but it was nothing for us to work. I mean, you would take Ethan and I would go over and work after dinner until 10, 11 o'clock at night, and because I had things I wanted to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that took us the longest were the ones that were in serious need of
Right. And often when they were that bad,
usually it was
we
when
were
first,
hiring people to do some things.
some of the things, yeah, but I mean even when even if all I was doing for the inside was hiring for, say, a drywall guy, because it would have been faster and more cost efficient to, say, have Glenn do the drywall than for us to do it. Because we had another house going and we needed to get both houses going.
Right.
Because there were several times where we had two going at once.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, I want to say 2 and maybe a third coming up where we're just finishing the one and now there's 2 again.
Right.
Like we for a moment there, not too long ago, we had a moment where
No, from 2018 until
we remodeled our
2 months
entire
ago?
portfolio in about a 2-year period.
yeah.
Because what they don't tell you, when you buy a house, 9 years goes by, you're going to have to rehab it again. Not remodel. I don't really call it that. It's more of a rehab, like freshen it up.
Right.
Maybe new handles, new colors, new lights, fix drywall things. There's always holes in walls. Flooring. But when you have to do something to everything, it's a rehab.
Right.
I mean, it's
Well, and some of our properties have been rented for so long. Like the one was 10 years.
10 years. We've had a tenant.
And
We've had multiple tenants that stayed that long.
Yeah. And we go in and fix things that need to be fixed, but we don't go and do any kind of remodeling if somebody's in the property. So that had a 10-year, and that was a hell of a job. And it was our biggest house.
It was our biggest house.
2-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And like I said, I'm very OCD. So cleaning it, getting it repainted, getting drywall cracks fixed, new lighting, had the outside painted.
That flow for us is so common. Like me and you, like we've done so many of these that when we go into a house, we already kind of know who's going to do what.
Right.
Like I don't ask her. She didn't necessarily ask me. I kind of assume she's going to handle the kitchen cabinets. I kind of assume she's going to worry about the handle, because handles add little features to the home.
Right.
I assume she's going to go pick out lights for this place. I assume.
And you don't have to buy the most expensive handles,
Right.
and you don't have to buy the most expensive tile for a backsplash. There are places that you can go and get scrap. When we first started out, I used to go to, it's actually a furniture store, but they would do flooring too.
Flooring, yeah.
And they would have leftover tile and stuff from jobs that they did, and then they would sell that tile in the back room for like a third of the cost.
They do that with paint too, by the way.
At Home Depot, they'll do it where there's a custom order.
Yeah.
Right. But you can always find, I don't buy the most expensive cabinet handles because, well, they're just going to get disgusting.
Yeah, it's not your personal home,
Right.
but we don't want it shitty either. So we want a middle ground between,
Right.
If I lived here, I would probably add a different light here and I would add this and that.
Right.
Like, but for like renters, we don't necessarily want ceiling fans in every room.
No.
That's
As
shit.
a matter of fact, there's never ceiling fans in every room. There's one ceiling fan
Right.
in the living room. If you want a fan in your bedroom, then I would recommend getting a floor fan.
Right. And
And I do not let them change out lighting.
these things you'll figure as you go. You as a landlord and / investor, every component you are responsible for that, and it will break and it will have to be changed out. So if you put a dishwasher in there, you're always going to be buying dishwashers.
We don't own a property.
So we
with
pull those
dishwasher.
out,
Yes.
and we make, if there was a dishwasher in there, we make cabinet space. I'm not giving you a dishwasher. If you want a dishwasher, buy your own house.
I don't have a dishwasher here
Right.
at this place.
So little things like that, you'll figure along the way. I don't think you need to know those things to be a real estate investor or to get started.
No.
Um,
I think the biggest thing you need to know to get started is know your market.
know your market for sure.
Look around your area that you live in.
So you say start at home.
Yes, 100%.
And that's what we did.
Right.
Because I get a lot of people like, what do you think about out of state investing? We invested out of state.
Right.
But that was after 20 years of investing locally.
Right. And when we did invest out of state, where did we invest? Somewhere that I knew.
Which is, funny. We went to an actual town where my wife used to live. I mean, not live, but had a place right up the street.
Right. I'm 38.
Right. So
To Matt.
we like familiarity. I don't like to not know things.
By looking in your own neighborhood, in your own city, you know the good areas, you know the bad areas.
Would you buy a house in a bad area?
Depends.
Right. That's where I'm starting. That's for
It depends.
Yeah, we own houses in bad areas
Yeah.
that have been very profitable,
Yes. 100%.
and we make them beautiful.
Right.
And people will go, "Oh my God!" and they completely forget the neighborhood when they see the house.
Well, and it's funny too because, like the one house, it's got the apartment complex across the street.
Mm-hmm.
When we first looked at that house, oh my God, it was like a crack house. It was
Yeah,
awful.
it was bad. When we say crack, I mean seriously. Like, there's a dude
It's a
on the
crack
corner selling crack.
It was a crack house.
Yeah.
So
Most people would drive by that. We're like, how much they want?
yeah,
I
the
can make
price
him
was
move.
ridiculous.
I got a gun too.
And then I just built up a big ass privacy.
Yeah, we just put up a
fence
privacy fence, put up some lights.
But that apartment complex was horrid.
Horrid.
But then a new owner bought it,
It got better.
and it got better. And
Now it's back to
Now
not
it's
so-
back to being crappy again.
What did we pay for that house though? I remember.
50?
It was 47,000.
Well,
The only reason I remember is that's the first time I've ever been at closing, and the guy selling it to me leaned across and goes, "Why would you buy this?"
Yeah.
Like he was mortified. It was too. I'd already signed it. Like he waited
Right.
till I signed it, and then he leans forward and goes, "Why would you buy this?"
and while we're at closing, I'm usually not paying attention. I'm just signing wherever Joel tells me to sign because I don't want the stress of knowing that I'm just signing another debt.
That is stressful.
It is. It's very stressful.
It never goes away either, because I get people. There was a guy on my live on Instagram the other day. He just got his first rental, and he was talking about how stressed he was.
Yeah.
Possible market crash, which that's so silly to worry about that. But it's stressful in the sense that now you're responsible.
Yes.
If there's no tenant, you still have to take care of this
No,
house.
when we bought our personal home, I
Stressful.
thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, I was stressed
Signing.
about every property we've ever bought.
Right.
I'm second guessing myself. What is it I'm not seeing?
See, I don't second guess myself once we've decided on a property. I don't second guess.
No, you've
that.
gotten a lot better.
I still don't like signing documents saying that I'm responsible.
Right.
That stresses me out.
Now, would this be true or not true? On every property we buy, we've gone broke.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And when I say broke,
'Cause we're all in.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like she has an IRA, I have an IRA,
Right.
and I have a SEP account, and these are tax sheltered until we're 59 and a half. So that's not even an option for access to money. So that money's gone for us.
And I refuse to allow him to take a mortgage out on my house.
Right. And our
End of conversation.
personal home is paid for. We're not big fans of HELOCs on your home. So I think you need to protect your buy and hold account. That's your retirement, 401k, whatever deal you got going there. And your personal home needs to be secure. Your family needs to know they have a place to stay. And I think that's been a huge help for us, is that not having that mortgage,
Right.
not having debt. We always know in the back of our head, if shit gets real bad, we can just sell a house, put it in checking, and we'll live for a while.
Right. Nobody's taking my house.
Right. At the very end, this one will be last. Right? Like,
Yeah, it's going to be a real bad day
Right.
if we've sold all the properties and had to sell our personal.
by the time we whittled down to that one.
Yeah.
And that's not to say, and I don't, because sometimes people say, well, that's not very sophisticated. I get that. And we have friends who've used their home as down payment. They've used their home as collateral.
Right.
And they went
The
on to
stock
do
portfolio is
successful.
collateral.
Yeah.
Right.
And they put everything on the line. They're worth way more than we are. And they'll put it all on the line every time. And they've done amazing.
I am a very cautious person when it comes to money.
That's why we're not richer, right? Not you, but us.
Well,
we're
a lot
conservative.
of it is.
We're very conservative.
No, a lot of it is because of me, because I don't want to have employees. I hate employees with
Right.
passion. Can't stand them.
Which makes it hard to make. You can only make so much money without employees.
Correct.
Right.
I love my contractors, but beyond them, I don't want anybody working for me.
Right.
And I don't want to risk. I'm not a risk taker when it comes to.
No, once we own it, we want to keep it.
Yes.
And that's slowed us down.
Right. And maintaining that this is my property. I am not giving up my personal home for an investment. I'm not doing it.
Right.
We'll figure out another way to do it. What do we need to do? Do we need to, reevaluate the loan at the bank, take out a loan against something that's paid for? That's an investment versus my
Now, we'll borrow
personal
against a
home.
rental property.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about personal homes.
Right.
Like,
and it did slow us. It
slowed us down. And
but that's also what kept me in the game.
Right. It made her feel comfortable.
Right.
If she feels comfortable, then she stays in the game. She keeps working, and
Yeah.
that's true of women. I'm sure some men, but more so of women. There's this natural nesting. You want to protect your house. They want to feel safe.
Right.
And sometimes as a husband, and I've seen this in young guys that I counsel, whatever you want to talk about, one-on-one, is he's trying to get his wife on board, and the reason she's leery is, one, you've probably had these ideas and schemes a bunch of times. Like, I constantly have schemes and ideas, right? So you're just like, oh geez.
Yeah.
So you have to convince her this one is real, and the way you do that is through consistency. But also, and we had this talk one day. I said, what could and I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but I wanted to chase this idea of what Paul has showed me of accumulating houses. I wanted to get 10 houses. And at first you were like, that sounds like 10 houses I got to fucking clean, 10 houses I've got to work. Right. She's like, this sounds like a lot of work. I'm not showing her, like, if you do this, we'll get beach condos. I'm just like explaining to her, and she's seeing this like, fuck that. Like, and I said, well,
I just had a kid.
Yeah, and we got a kid on top. I'm talking about spending. And then when we buy our first property, all of our savings, we have a baby. And I had just lost a job. Mm-hmm. I'm totally making money on my thing. You're out of work. And I
was still working.
You were still working.
Ethan was 2.
Right. But I took all of our money, literally, all of our savings, and I put it into a shitty house.
Yes.
And I tell the deal different. Our first deal was 2 properties. Highway 30.
You say that, I don't think that's the right house.
It is true. That's those 2.
I forget those 2 houses.
But whenever I tell the deal as one house, I cut it in half so that, I'm morally telling the truth there. But our first deal was a duplex, but it wasn't a duplex. It was 2 houses.
It was 2 separate houses.
One guy owned both of them.
Right.
And I don't think people believe me when I say I bought them for $75,000. 2 houses.
Yeah.
2.
And they were both in pretty...
And they were shitty.
Yeah,
and they had horrible
shitty.
renters in them.
Oh, they did.
And we learned about
So
bad renters
gross.
that first year. So I have a wife, a baby, 2 shitty houses
And let
with
me just
2
tell
horrible
you,
renters.
yes, all I had going on was I'm going to clean and clean and clean.
And it was true.
Clean
That's
and
what we
clean.
did.
Oh my God, that
Between
place was
baby
gross.
poop and horrible renters in the ghetto. It was a terrible.
Oh, that house was disgusting.
Yeah, but I could see the money flow. I knew, all right, if I could get,
All I saw was me trying to get the stench out of that floor.
So you're saying the first years we weren't balling and money was rolling in? And then just as soon as we got a little money, what did we do?
We went and bought the next one.
We went broke.
Yeah, we're always cash poor when
Right.
it comes to houses.
And I did a video a while back, and I said I was a millionaire and I was dead broke. Like, we've had several businesses go bust. Remember the lotto thing I had going? That went out. My email pays you thing went out. And I get these things, they start making money and then they stop, as a lot of businesses do. And by not having a lot of debt, when our money sources dry up,
Right.
our home is paid for,
Right.
our cars are paid for, we just cut back.
Right.
But we have cash flow coming in.
But we don't spend a lot anyway.
No, we live
We
now.
do now.
If people watched us on YouTube and Instagram now, they'd think I'm, maybe balling a little, maybe bragging a little. It's not. These are all, like, even the second home, we're recording this in New Orleans at our second home. This is an investment for us. Not the wisest one,
Right.
but we're going to make money on this.
We will.
We've always made
Yeah,
money
yeah.
on real estate.
Now, when it comes to real estate, it's funny because he talks about the other things that he did separately. And we were talking about having your family involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask somebody who is reluctant to do something to be a partner in it with you, especially husband and wife team,
Right.
there, and you talked about women wanting that safety, that feeling of safety. I think because I was way more nervous about all the other crap that you did
Yeah.
versus real estate,
Yes.
because you pulled me into doing it with you. Was I excited about scrubbing houses?
We still do that.
No.
We still get
I still scrub houses
Right.
instead of hiring people to do it because I want it done. I then know what it looks like before I rent it again, because I was the one that actually cleaned it. But by bringing me into that as a partner in that, gave me the sense of, okay, I've got a commitment in this too, and if you start falling
you're
behind, I'm going to
invested.
kick your ass. If I start
Right.
falling behind, you're going to kick my ass. And so it was this balance, and
It makes them invested too.
correct.
It really
Yeah.
does. It makes you're both equally invested in this deal.
Though I would say to the ladies out there, if your husband's trying to or boyfriend's trying to get you to do this or whatever, just make it a rule in the very, 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 very beginning that you do not clean houses, that's part of their job. You'll do the painting, you'll do the tile work, you'll do
I clean.
whatever.
I clean houses.
Make sure that you are not expected to make the house clean.
I do clean houses.
You don't clean houses.
I do. Like I have to
You
all
do
my
not
drywall and all that stuff. I clean up all that stuff. I clean up my work site. I do all that. What do you mean? Like I'm cutting wood. I got to pick up all the wood. I got to sweep it off.
And then I go in and clean.
Yeah,
actually
maybe
clean.
so. But I also have cleaning girls, which we while on one hand we say we live super frugal, we have we have pool people, we have people that clean our houses for us. So we've added things along the way as we've made money to make our life easier, so that we could focus more on real estate.
Right. Well, I can get more done in.
I'd rather
In
you
a
be cleaning a
house.
rental than cleaning our house.
Right. I mean, because I can get more done in the time that it would take me to clean our house
Right.
at a rental
Right.
and save us
I mean,
hundreds, thousands of dollars.
It's cheaper to hire the house cleaner.
to hire the house cleaner.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that helps guys, like your wife, she's like, fuck, I can't go over there. I got to do it. Well, hire a house cleaner.
Right.
She'll be
Yeah, because I can
appreciative
go
and then
over
put her
and
ass to
paint-
work at the rental.
Paint the rental, which would cost me about $3,500 to
Right. That's a year of a house cleaner at your house, right?
in the time that and then I have the house cleaners come once a week to our
Once a
house.
week for $90 or whatever.
Right, which is really, really cheap. By the
Which
way.
is cheap. But either way, like
But they've been doing it for 20-some years, guys.
she could make you more in equity and all of that, working on the
And
rent.
that was one of my deals too, ladies. We had a housekeeper.
Yeah, no,
From
that's
when
been
we
a
first
and
started
that's
doing this.
That's a podcast for successful marriage, maybe. But
But that it freed me up, and I didn't, because I was we had Ethan. I was still cooking dinner every night.
mm-hmm.
We had other things that we had going on. You had other things in the office going on, and so then the thought of having to keep that house clean. I got a small child, and the house is a disaster, and I'm trying to
Right,
get
so
this
we had a
other
house
stuff
cleaner.
done. That was one of the things that was like I needed that.
And I was very involved with raising our son.
100%.
Like
yeah.
more than other dads.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
for
no,
sure.
100%.
And again, that was, in some ways strategic. Like, let me watch the kid. You go take care of the kitchen over there.
Well, and I think that was
You know.
that. Even taking care of Ethan was very much
A balancing.
a balance thing
Mhm.
because it was almost like you would, for the longest time, it was like you had mornings, I had evenings,
Right. It was
afternoons,
Right.
whatever, and it was this balancing thing. Well, the thought of all day, every day being the only one.
Yeah, no,
What
they're
if-
not going to be on board at all if that's the way. If you're a guy
Right.
and you're expecting your wife to slowly, she's supposed to cook, clean the house, take care of the kids. Of course, she doesn't want to be involved in your next deal.
Right.
Your current deal sucks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the way of looking at it. I mean, you
It
got to
does.
give them an incentive here, man.
Right.
Right.
And so everything was balanced, from raising Ethan to doing real estate to our personal property.
Mm-hmm.
If I cooked, he did dishes.
And I think for a
We
while
still
there,
do that.
we had a thing, if we could get to so many houses, like you were going to quit working.
Right.
I think it was like 8 or 10. I don't remember. And we hit that, and of course you stopped working. You haven't had a job since. I mean, other than doing properties.
Right.
And whatever else we come up with. But yeah, that's good stuff, man. The division of labor, that's super important. And balancing it with family. And I think a family's just got to, this isn't a sometimes when they say, you know, the time thing, what it comes down to is why does your family live? And I teach these things called the 9 thoughts on getting rich. And number 3 is structure your life. Now, just you knowing me, you talk about me. Is my existence, what is the primary reason I wake up? I mean, it's not,
It's to make money.
yes, but it's to grow our empire, right?
Right.
It's not to hang out with my friends.
No.
That will happen as the day progresses. Like I see a friend, hey man, what's up? Next thing you know, I'm kind of guy that may hang out there 2 hours,
Right.
and I was supposed to be going over here, right?
You lack structure in
'Cause
your day.
But here's the beautiful thing. I don't need it because of financial freedom of real estate.
Correct.
I have no boss other than you. I have no alarm clock.
No.
I have nowhere to be.
No.
And it's been that way for a long time. I don't know what it's like to get up and go to a job every day. It's been so long, almost 20 years.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how people do the job thing because it gets in the way of getting rich. Meaning, as quick as you can, you have to find a way to get away from that. Get money from some other way. This was my thoughts growing up.
yeah, but there's a lot. Okay, so I always hear people say this. Oh, well, you work for yourself or you work from home. You know, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
Yes, I like that freedom. I like that freedom that I don't have to have an alarm clock.
Mm-hmm.
That we can take off and come down here and not have to worry about anything.
Right.
I like that freedom.
It's
It's a lot of work, and people seem to think that if you own your own business or if you you don't work conventionally,
Mm-hmm.
that your life's just chill. And it's like, no, actually, I work 7 days a week.
With our lifestyle, if you live like I do, or as we do,
Right.
we work every day.
Every day.
And we're
There's
not kidding.
something going on.
Yeah, we're not kidding when we say we work every day. It's every single day. If we go on vacation, we take
He's
a
working.
mobile office with us, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, now both of us do.
Now both
Yeah.
of us do because
It
you're
used to be
you're way more
you
involved in
were-
helping me now.
Constantly. There was always,
Tell him.
he was, oh my God. Driving. He never drove anywhere.
How
I
many-
drove.
but
because he
I-
was sitting there writing.
And I wrote books, right?
He wrote books. And
How much do you
then-
think I've made selling books? I mean, in my 20 years, because I've written
Um,
a lot of these guys have not seen my other books, which I don't sell anymore.
Right.
But in the last 20 years,
I'm trying
as an unknown author,
I know, but I'm trying to block out that whole
right?
previous
would,
time. So
would you say it's north of $1 million just in book sales?
oh,
Just book
way
sales,
north,
not everything.
way north.
So I've made $1 million probably just in retail book sales.
right.
No one's heard of me.
No. I know, honey. It's okay.
But think about that. So the guys you see that are heard of, the Grant Cardones
Right.
and they're making fucking boatloads of money.
Ugly money.
And I'm nobody. And I've made $1 million. Well, divide that by 20 guys. That's 50 grand a year.
Right.
That's not my job. That's shit I did while we're on vacation.
Right.
So in the car on the way vacation, I'm sitting there scribbling on a notebook. And that's the sacrifice of not having an alarm clock, not having a boss, is that you have to be
And we still, even now,
sharp.
You never drive here.
No, I don't drive because and I don't want this to sound arrogant. That's a waste of my time, and I don't misinterpret that when I say that. It means I could follow up with, while she's driving here, I can have 100 follow-up conversations. I could respond to your DM that leads to a book sale.
Right.
I could talk to a realtor. I could talk with a guy I'm doing a project with. I can work on my book. So by the time we get there, I've done 50 important tasks.
Right.
And I do this a lot. And if we're with friends, it won't be long. You'll be like, "Where's Gerald?" Right? And I'll be off in the corner on my phone. And I've had to explain, they're like, "Dude, why don't you take a break from social media?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm trying to get rich." Like, they're not trying to get rich.
I mean,
so I don't take input from people not chasing what I'm chasing. Right. You know that.
Though date night can kind of suck when you're.
But I do but I was gonna say, if my wife demands it, if the situation demands it, I will stop.
And there have been a couple of times that I've actually said, "Put the phone down."
And even with houses, there's times where you were like, "All right, let's chill here."
Yep.
And I'm like, it's a true story. My wife's father passes, rest his soul. She's at his funeral, and I call you, and I say, "I'm gonna need you to sign something."
Yeah.
Remember?
I was still at the hospital with him when
and
you
I'm like,
me.
"Hey, I know you guys are busy." Now, is that me trying to be disrespectful or rude? No, that's just, if you know me, that's Gerald being Gerald.
Right.
And he's not worrying about your problems. He's trying to grow the business.
Right. But.
And I can't turn it off.
In all honesty, as I was going up there to basically say my goodbyes, I was on the phone with our plumber.
Right. And I know you would do the
airport.
same thing if, like, you'd be like, "Hold on just a second. I can," yes, and you have to be, but there are other people that would be, my father passed, 4 fucking months of inactivity, they're laying on the couch, boo fucking who, right? And that takes them out, dude. They can't progress.
I think that,
like, any interruption in their life, my son broke his arm, we can't do real estate now, or, anything that happens that's adverse,
right,
would keep them from
and
functioning.
if you look at that though, I'm just looking at my friends that are business owners, and that I've known for years. Tanya's dad
Passed away.
Due to cancer. She worked every day up
She
until
never
that
missed
point.
a beat on that.
She did not miss a beat
You
on
just
that
cry at
when
work.
it came to taking care of her family and the business. And it was...
Dude, I've lost count the number of times
Yeah.
I've been crying painting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it's also a lifeline in a sense, meaning it's what gets me through a lot of times. Not to say there's shit tons of bad things about rental properties and problems and issues, and it'll cause disruptions. You're going to miss meals and not be able to go on a thing you planned, or you can't go on this trip because now there's an emergency at the house. Those things happen. But it also is it gives you a place to go to. Emotionally, physically, financially.
Yeah, I mean...
Security.
If I didn't have the houses that we were working on, when Ethan passed,
it could have spiraled into some...
I wouldn't have gotten out of bed.
Right. Yeah. And I tell people this, the reason...
All right, that's a good place to stop. Part 3 in our interview is coming. I appreciate everyone that's listened. I hope it's inspired you and your spouse. And always remember, folks, whatever you think about comes about, and whatever you focus on grows. I know you can do it. If a guy like me can do it, I know you can do it. I hope you appreciate as I am. This is my second house in the French Quarter. This is Money Flow Production Studios. I hope to see you here one day at my house. I hope that I could pour you a drink and I could meet you in the French Quarter and tell your story. God bless.